Philadelphia Eagles should shock the entire NFL world and pull off the unthinkable. They should pull off a trade that nobody sees coming from a million miles away. The one that turns heads, and bring Micah Parsons into Philadelphia and give him some midnight green. He's from Harrisburg. He went to school here. He's over at the Sixer games rocking Sixer jerseys. He is meant for Philadelphia. He would fulfill the absolute one position of need that it feels like this organization has struggled to get right. And the Dallas Cowboys are in a state of turmoil. The Dallas Cowboys have had the worst offseason in the entire NFL. Things are falling apart, which we knew they would after they get embarrassed in a playoff game and keep the head coach that continues to let them get embarrassed. And here they are in a state of uncertainty. Who knows what's going to happen with the Cowboys? The Eagles should take Jerry out for a drink and somehow persuade him to trade Micah Parsons to the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you think? Could the Eagles ever pull off a trade like this? What would you do to see Micah Parsons in midnight green? But before we jump into it, this is A to Z Philly. Do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the coverage. This one brought to you by BetMGM. Enjoy your favorite sports with BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. With BetMGM, you'll get parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, daily boosted odds, and more. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with our bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's read just a little bit. Latest Micah Parsons controversy reveals Dallas Cowboys dysfunction. Well, you're telling the whole world what we knew already. All right, the Cowboys are embarrassing. They make more headlines than they do win games. And now their star player, the guy who's a generational talent. Yes, it hurts to say it. Micah Parsons is terrorizing. He's one of the best in the league. He has the potential to be one of the best ever. And now the Cowboys are already butting heads. When organizations have a dominant player on their team, usually it leaves them with no choice but to look for common ground on future contract extensions. Most franchises don't actually tear down a player's character when the team still employs them. Then there are the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, I love it. I love it. I give it all. Give it all to them. Jerry Jones talks about how he messed it up with Dez Bryant at one point, Dak Prescott, and now doing it to Micah Parsons. Just this past week, sources within the organization told Shan Sheriff of 105.3 The Fan that the Parsons antics have worn thin by some. Quote, I've heard from way too many people this offseason. I'm talking about 4 different people who have told me that Micah has worn thin. Parsons has recorded 10 sacks in every year, 40 and a half total, and a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year each year. This guy's generational. The Cowboys are going to mess it up with this guy because they mess up everything. They are terrible. They choke every year in the damn playoffs. What don't people get? They are a dysfunctional organization. Parsons has a podcast called The Edge, which he does a lot, and those clips surface around. It says he recently took part in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game. Since coming to the NFL, the Penn State product has been an outspoken player, but one of the more dominant across the league. He may even be outspoken to the point of distraction, a point that's been made often around the star by everyone from Michael Irvin to our own Mike Fisher. Hey, man, they don't want to let him be himself. You know where you could be yourself? You know where people will eat that up, Micah? In Philadelphia. Oh, in the revenge story. Just like Saquon. Come over to a division rival. Go and torch the Cowboys every time you play them. It would be sweet like honey, man. RG3 says the Dallas Cowboys have not yet extended Dak Prescott. Anonymous sources in the organization don't like Micah Parsons, and they haven't paid CeeDee Lamb yet. You can't be all in and all out on your best 3 players. Stop the madness with these distractions and pay these guys already. That comes after RG3 said the Cowboys are having the worst offseason in the NFL. You remember the start of free agency? Everybody was going around. And the Cowboys are just doing nothing. They're doing nothing after they said they were going all in. It is absolutely hilarious. I knew when they kept Mike McCarthy that they were going to beat themselves bad. And even Skip Bayless, who acts like the biggest Cowboy fan ever, says it is a dark time to be a Cowboys fan. But enough about the Cowboys because they stink. We're not worried. What would this do for the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, it would give them a absolute star linebacker, a franchise player that they could continue to build this defense around. We know there's a lot of uncertainty, and we know that bringing in a new coordinator with a new scheme is going to be very intriguing, but it doesn't matter what scheme you put Micah Parsons in. There's guys that fit the schemes, and there's guys that absolutely dominate no matter who they are playing for, where they are at, and Micah Parsons is an example of one of those guys, right? I always say, for example, with Saquon, right? Does he fit into what the Eagles like to do when it comes to running the ball? Maybe not 100%, but he is a game changer. Those are the types of guys that you invest in. And Micah Parsons is a guy that I would love to see come to Philadelphia and spend his entire career here and just cook the Cowboys every time he plays them. Just get all over Dak Prescott, whoever it is. Yeah. The Eagles would probably never be able to pull this off because I don't see the Cowboys trading a guy like this to the Eagles in the division. But if they could ever influence Jerry, you're tanking, your team blows, and it's going to blow up in your face and somehow make a trade. I mean, they made a couple before on draft night. You never know. The Eagles are starting to get rumored in a lot of NFL draft night trades, right? The Eagles are working out wide receivers and they're working out corners, things they don't usually go for in the first round. And, people are starting to think, okay, maybe the Eagles already have enough and they just trade back and they acquire more picks for next year or the year after, try to replenish a couple picks. So I could see that happening, or maybe they just do what they always do and they go up front in the trenches. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, if the Eagles do make a draft night trade and this situation blows up, the Eagles need to do the unthinkable and try to get Micah Parsons to Philly, give up whatever it takes. Get Micah to Philly. That would completely shake up the NFL world. But give me your thoughts down below. Is there any chance, 1%, that this could ever become a realistic possibility? Because at the end of the day, when I'm thinking about the future here, I mean, the Eagles should be able to win the division this year. I mean, even the Commanders went out and made a ton of moves. The Commanders put the Cowboys off season to shame. Even the New York Giants, who have really not done too much, went out and acquired a key defensive player. So it's more than the Cowboys have done. All I can remember is that the Cowboys re-signed their long snapper. That's literally the only thing I can remember. But at the end of the day, I want to hear from you. Give me your thoughts down below. What would you do to get Micah Parsons to Philadelphia? And do you think there's any possibility that this could ever happen? Just even a 1% chance. Give me your thoughts. Let's talk about it down in the comments section. Appreciate you tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.